Hello, I'm back once again, and there's a reason why I'm doing this on Saturday instead of, as per usual, my Friday. That is because I was home a lot later than expected. Yeah, that can happen. And instead of canceling the stream, which I don't really want to do anymore, I often do a moving of streams. So I moved the stream to today. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I'm going to continue refitting old creations with modular engines. And then try and complete them as well. So yeah, let's jump into it. As usual, I'm here with Obsidian Blade 266. One has returned.
Hello. Uh-oh.
What?
Enemy randomizer being a randomizer.
Never
Never mind, I already won. I killed them in one hit. Granted, it was my nuke, but still, they all conveniently lined up.
There is Formula 1 this weekend. Yes, Gaming Baron 1. We meet again. Every time I hear "we meet again," I have to think of the time, Jim. I drove myself home, and before I got out, like I was about to turn the car off and get out, "We'll Meet Again" started playing. Right when I was about to leave. Which is...
Yes.
Worst of all, I was playing for my liked songs playlist, which I usually listen to. This playlist is over 1,000 songs long. So Spotify had over 1,000 songs to choose from, and it specifically chose "We'll Meet Again." It was really funny at that time. Probably because we were all tired. And being tired makes things an infinite amount of times funnier. Like, you can make the best jokes when you have energy and not really laugh about it. But you can also have the worst jokes, but you're tired. So then it becomes funny again. Also, what do I do with this area? I'm thinking of either shortening the train, which would push everything closer, but I kind of like this length. Although it is totally unnecessary considering we're running this now. It's a massive, over-the-top diesel engine. You know what? I'm just going to shorten it. Yes, specifically that song. I'm just slowly gonna see the lyrics of "We'll Meet Again" appear. Oh boy, this is not gonna be fun, isn't it? I need to shorten this to like here, which removes the wheel. So that's not a smart idea to do. If I do this, and then this, then it should function actually. I then do this, cut it, push it over. So like... let's see. We're just gonna shorten this to like here.
Actually open your stream so I can actually read your chat.
And if I then paste it, then you have kind of...
Ow.
Then you kind of have... I can remove this one to, I think. Now, if I remove this and this, grab this, pull it through. Now it looks way shorter. And I feel like I should add more. I probably should get like the triple wheeled bogey out. First I want to grab a reverse. Oh, wait. Open the thing. Oh no, wait, it's right at the back now. I open this, I put the clutch, put the ECU. And then we shut it again. Why do I as soon as I read the first lyric, I already realized what song it was.
Do I know this song?
You should. Oh, I know why it's not working. I know why it's not working. My engine outputs power into nothing. So my engine doesn't provide the thing with power. Yeah, Jim, you better be knowing that song. Worst of all, the title of the song is literally in the little bit of lyrics that is provided.
I might know it. Maybe if I hear it, it sounds somewhat familiar.
I don't think you'll have to. I think humanity will do that on its own. Do you not know the song Johnny Be Good? Come on.
I don't know. I probably do. I'm not
Then
sure.
look it up. Because I'm sure you will find results.
I'm already playing Devil May Cry. I already have music. You want to go down in history? Well, starting a war absolutely is one way to do it.
Yeah, of course. That's how you're supposed to do it, right?
If you just make enough enemies, you will just go down in history. Look at Count Vlad Dracula Tepesh III.
It does look a lot shorter now. And I feel like I should put something underneath.
We start at the beginning of the end. What counts as the beginning of the end? Because technically the moment the universe started is also already the beginning of the end.
If you take it in a little bit of a different way. Taken in a different way, you can see as Trump becoming president once again as the beginning of the end as well. Although...
Okay, there's so many of these fucking wheel dudes. Okay, wait, yeah, you need to go first, you stupid friggin'...
I'm not wheel slipping yet, and I'm doing just 15. Which means fuel should not be going down that quickly. See, it's sipping fuel now at 15 RPS. First, I had to get up to speed. We're doing 260 kilometers per hour in this massive... I'm turning external lights off so I can actually look at the front.
Works for me.
We're doing 270.
Oh, why are you here?
There's a station here. Might want to add more weights to this. Wait a second, I can add more fuel. Why didn't I think of this before? I can add more fuel to this. Alright, I want to add more fuel to it so I am heavier at the start. I mean, that weight does change eventually, but... Ooh, yes, I can do that. I can do it. I can do it. Alright, we want to fill this one in. Then we want to kind of put symmetry mode on immediately. As I see that as a necessity. I'm going to do this. We simply do that. Of course, this needs to go in there. Yeah.
Also, I had a pretty cool idea.
Oh boy.
So, what if I write a story and then I make a drawing and I record the drawing and then I make a video where I tell the story and the drawing is in the background?
You could do that. Symmetry mode needs to be on. What I'm going to do here is put something on the bottom so it looks more filled, and I'm going to fill it up with fuel. So the fuel tank will massively expand, making this locomotive a lot heavier than it was before. And it looks a little bit more complete like this, with even a chance to, because I have the power to do it. If I replace almost all this bottom with weight blocks, it should be a lot heavier now. Which means it either moves slower than expected, or quicker because I can actually put my power down a bit better because of the grip. Oh wait, I just realized something. I want to turn the starter on, and I want to walk all the way back here. Alright, I want to slap it in reverse. Throw it up to like 10. And start increasing the... How much fuel do I have now? I multiplied my fuel with a factor of 3. out of reverse, and clutch. Should you make the clutch a little bit less sensitive? We...
No.
First, just let it get up to speed.
Okay.
Then we increase the clutch again. I'm surprised it didn't derail there.
The critical drinker is doing something pretty cool. So he did another another Kickstarter, and I backed it. Because he made like a short film like a while ago, right? And that was, you know, funded with a Kickstarter.
I guess.
And now he has a Kickstarter for another one. For, you know, like a part 2 to the one that they already made. But they are making it a lot bigger, and they're also open to... What they're gonna do is you can send in your own script, and then, you know, if it, and I think the limitation was like 10 pages. They would look at it, and then they would let the backers vote for which one they're actually gonna make into a movie.
So, slight little thing. Can you move your microphone a slight bit away, because you are kind of topping out at this point?
There you go.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's a lot better now.
But like that seems kind of cool.
It doesn't want to go quicker than 250.
I can do that shit out of a... That's cool.
But who cares? We're going speed. So I do want to change the throttle to be a little bit more... These need to be a little bit more... a bit less sensitive, a little bit slower. The brakes are perfectly fine as is. Like... it will stop you quick. Right. So we're gonna bring it back into the workshop. Realize I need to fill this one in still. Facelift, nah. I like the livery I have on this. It's just that I need to... Right, let's first do this. Sensitivity goes down to like 80. With this one also going to 80. Let's see how bad that is. I mean, it's still slightly annoying that I put a driver on this side here and not on this side here where the driver
This asshole
usually goes. But oh well. Let's get another instrument panel going. This one is going to have the reverse button. It's a toggle. Then we'll also need a switch signal, which is a button, and it's going to remain push because all I have to do is send the signal out once. Channel 2. Then I'm going to eat some chocolate. I'm going to shove it in my mouth because chocolate is delicious.
Wait, that has a hitbox? Why does every little movement in this game have a hitbox? Virgil has this move where he like impales himself because of course, and then like a whole bunch of shit happens, and then he takes a sword out and slowly does like a little flourish and puts it in the sheath. The flourish has a hitbox.
What else do I want to add?
Your mom.
No, I don't have it. I do have a thing that's just for 2 buttons. Ugh. Channel 1 was the reverse, which is a gearbox, which goes here. Then the second one is a little bit tricky. Because I'm going to need to go to signal strength, frequency. I know I need to go to frequency 440. So I guess you do that with a constant on signal. Or no, a constant number. That is going to be connected to this. It's going to be 440. Then we are going to need to connect this. Then we're going to need to connect this one to this one. And power it up with this one massive battery. I could put a connector in the front as well. Alright, let me just put the external lights off. We have the fuel that is clutch. Turn the ECU on. Start it up. Shut this. So at 5 RPS, or 3 actually, which is really just sipping on fuel, it does 40. This is the magnificent speed of 40 kilometers per hour. I'm going to 9, which is immediately pushing us up to 80. I'm switching the signal, come on.
There is one problem if I make a video like that. I don't know if I'm a good narrator.
I don't know either, but what I do know is that my signal, my switch signal thing is not working.
Small issue. Maybe I should also then get somebody to like voice act, sort of, at least for like the girls, because I don't have a girl voice.
Brings to that 440. Transmit mode is false.
Julie, you up to voicing girls?
No. I don't have the voice training for that specific thing.
No?
No.
Maybe I can ask Shanique.
Alright, I'm gonna need a signal changer, which probably requires an input and output. This output is gonna be a number. Wait, hold on. Doesn't it have a composite? Data send. Ah, my output is gonna need to be data send. So, I'm gonna need to go for composite. Output. So your input, that is gonna... No, I'm gonna need to write on off. So it just does that. But I kind of want to make it a 3-1 with a number as well. Number output. This way I can add a switch box to it. Switch it. Constant, no, constant number for the on value, which is 440. Signal switch. Signal switch. Save it as that. So right here, if I search up signal switch, we get this, which goes into here, it goes into here, and this goes to here. Wait, no, that's the wrong one. It goes to here as well. And I realize I still have to start my engine up. Where is the button? There it is. There we go. Yeah, AD is not nearly sensitive enough. Why do these all read 0? It works. Huh, but I also need to go to the toilet, so I will be right back to Jim. If you could entertain my chat,
Right.
then I will
Well, let
be...
me just let me get one of my stories.
No, no. I don't want to get demonetized or banned. No.
You wouldn't get demonetized for it.
But I will be right
What
back.
story should I tell then?
I don't know. Just figure out one.
The Trojan War?
Sure, whatever. I'll be back.
Okay. Okay. Right. Trojan War, sure. We won't be going into the whole thing because it's way too much, and also I probably don't remember half the characters because there's a lot of people in the Trojan War. Some of them have the same name. There's 2 people named Ajax in it. It's very annoying. But so basically, it starts pretty much the same as like a lot of other stories in Greek myth, where the king goes to an oracle, king of Troy, and the oracle is like, "Hey, like your next child is gonna be bad. Like they're it's gonna be the doom of the city. So and if he's there, so that kind of freaks him out, but he also can't kill his own son. So he says to one of his servants, like, "Hey, take him into the forest as a baby, right? Like the child is a baby at this point. Into the forest and just leave him or something." Um, but the man can't do it. He can't let a child die. So he doesn't let the child die. The child named Paris, uh, like is adopted by a farmer outside of Troy, and he sees the man as his father, and they work the land and stuff. And Paris is a hard worker, and he is honest, and that is important because obviously, Hera, Aphrodite, and Athena have a beauty contest. Because of course they do. And they go to Paris, and they say, and they ask him to tell them who is the most beautiful. And Hera says to him, "If you pick me, then I will give you power." Athena says, "If you pick me, I will give you knowledge, and that can lead to power." And Aphrodite says, "If you pick me, I cannot give you power or knowledge, but I can give you this." And she shows him a face of a girl, and it's the most beautiful person he has ever seen. And Aphrodite says, "If you pick me, she will be yours. I will make sure that she will fall in love with you." And so he picks her without thinking about it, because of course he does, and it leaves the other 2 book goddesses very pissed off, because because that's how they are. And then nothing happens for a bit, until he finds out about a tournament, and the tournament is near the city of Troy, and he decides to participate, and he wins in like everything. He beats all the competition. What he doesn't know is that the 2 princes of Troy are also there, and of course he doesn't know that they are his brothers. And he beats them, and at first they are pissed over that, and then the father comes in and recognizes Paris as his son. Somehow, after I guess they looked alike or something. But he knows that Paris is his son, and he apologizes for, for abandoning him, and it's like, you can come back into the city now. And they are a happy family. And Paris becomes a very popular prince, and the other two, his brothers, they like him a lot. And yeah, everything goes pretty well. One person though, I forget her name, but she can like see the future, and so she tries to warn the people, like, hey, if he stays here, then the city will burn down. Like, this is a problem. But no one listens to her because she has been cursed to where nobody actually takes her seriously. So, yeah, nice seeing the future. I forget why. I think it was something with Poseidon, but I don't know. Anyway, at some point, Paris is sent on a sort of diplomatic mission kind of deal to, I forget where, I forget what the place was named, but to King Agamemnon, if that's how you pronounce that. I don't know how you pronounce that. And he goes, and he's a good guest. He's Paris. He's a good person. Until he sees Princess Helena, the girl from the vision. And I forget if she was Agamemnon's sister or if she was his wife. But I think she was his sister. But it doesn't really matter because he decides to pretty much just kidnap her, along with a bunch of the wealth in the palace, which, bit excessive. Hello. If you're wondering what's going on, Bush is not here at the moment. I'm telling the story of Troy until he's back. But, where was I? But, right, he kidnapped Helena, pretty much. It's by the way, it's unclear if she went on her own accord or if he literally kidnapped her. But obviously you're not supposed to just take a princess with you. And so, Agamemnon is pretty pissed off with this. And he assembles a war fleet, and there's a whole lot of stuff that goes wrong with this war fleet. I could go into it. I'll go into it for a little bit, because it's kind of funny. So, first thing, Helena was so beautiful that at some point they had, like, they didn't know who to pick as a husband for her without offending other people. Oh, he's back.
Oh, come on.
I see your stream, mate.
Yeah, I always hope that every time I return, I just continue my stream, continue like nothing happened, and just wait.
I mean, I will continue my story if you want. I mean, we're getting to a funny part.
Well, then continue.
Okay, well, so Helena was that beautiful that there were just literally, there was like men just lining up for her. And they kind of had the problem of who was gonna be the husband without offending any of the other nobles. So Odysseus, he is very smart, and he was also one of the people that also wanted her. And he proposed that they could basically, what do you call it? Like when you have to like pull a stick, and then if you have the right stick, then it's you.
I've no idea, but if you want to show if you're in the Discord, there is a channel where you can put your creations. I think it is, if I go to the right, there's a channel with where did it go?
I don't know. What are you looking for?
Customers recommendations. It's called Stormworks recommendations. That specific channel, that is where you can If you put it up there, I will then try it out.
Oh, it's okay. The word is raffle in English.
It's just choosing.
Kind of
Then
choosing, but it's like, you know, you pull a piece of paper or a, you know,
I see it
or
said I
stick or
will
whatever.
try it out at some
And
point.
that way they would decide who gets to be your husband. And but they also, everyone who wanted to participate had to swear their allegiance to their city, to their kingdom, whatever. And this
Impressive.
included Odysseus and a whole bunch of other people, and I forget all their names except for that there were 2 Ajaxes, and that makes it very confusing.
Yeah, I'm just going to slap a normal seed in here. Also,
But now,
why isn't this just a compact pilot seat?
But now, Paris stole Helena, and so now all of these people that swore their allegiance need to gather together to go get her back. Because
This
they
is way
promised they
too
would
low.
do that. But Odysseus didn't feel like doing that, because of course he didn't feel like it. And so he pretends to be, like, insane. And then there was like someone who saw through his like thing, nearly killed his son in the process of trying to expose him. It's a whole thing, but eventually they get Odysseus into it as well. And of course, what was his name again? How am I dumb? How am I this stupid? I know his name.
That was a quick change.
Achilles. Achilles, they get Achilles. And funny thing about Achilles, at that point he was dressed up as a woman because his mother wanted to hide him so that he wouldn't die. So she hid him between the daughters of a king with like 50 daughters.
Yeah.
How he had that many, I don't know. That cannot be healthy, but
Depends on the amount of wives or
I suppose so.
partners.
But even then,
Because if you
then...
have 50 of them, then all it would take is a year.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well,
But still, he yeah.
You would need more than
he
50.
He had 50 daughters, and Achilles hit between them. Under the name Pyra, I want to say, because of his red hair. There's some Pyro, something like that.
Good choice.
And Odysseus somehow found out that he was there, but they weren't sure where. And so he told his men, like, pretend to be some of the filthiest raiders in the area and raid the palace. And then he conveniently placed a sword near the daughters. I guess all 50 of them were in one place. And then the crew came in pretending to be raiders. And Achilles obviously immediately grabbed the sword to protect the others, and that's how they found Achilles. And they were like, "Hey, do you want to go to war with us?" And he said, "Yes, that sounds like fun." So then they have the entire fleet, and they still can't go because the wind is in the wrong direction, because Agamemnon pissed off Artemis, because of course he did. And now they need to fix that, and that's a whole thing. Basically the whole thing was a disaster. Eventually they get going. They somewhere along the way they leave one of the 2 Ajaxes on an island to die. I forget why, but they did that. Yeah, and they go to Troy. Troy is very well defended. It has an impenetrable wall. So instead they just start raiding the surrounding area, destroying all the towns in the area. because why not? Enslaving the people. Achilles also had a slave girl of his own, but he seemed to be nice to her. Like she, you know, like eventually he even lets her go. Like way later in the story, he lets her go. So, you know, Achilles is a good person. But I'm now realizing how long this story is actually gonna take.
Yeah, because I think you've already been going for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I just made myself a lighter. In the time it took for you to,
Yeah, well, maybe for next time then. So, Troy is now pretty much surrounded, but it's impenetrable. And the whole country is being raided.
I reduced my weight. By the time it took for you to get like a little bit into the story.
Pretty into the story. You missed the beauty contest between Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite.
If only I
Because
cared.
literally the Trojan War happened because of a beauty war.
Huh.
That is part of the reason that it happened.
The one thing that comes into my mind is, when's the horse?
What?
Trojan horse.
Oh, yeah, no, that's near the end.
When did they apply horse? Apply horse to
When after 10
problematic
years
area.
they realize they can't go into the city by brute forcing it.
So they'd just be like, what if? Big horse.
Yeah.
And then they were all like, yes, big horse.
Yeah, pretty much.
What if you put people in big horse?
Yes.
And then they did. Then they put people in big horse, and then the people went back out the big horse when they were
yeah, and then
within
they put
the
it on
walls.
city.
I think at night as well, because
Yes.
it is
they
a lot.
waited.
It is a lot easier because I think like during the Romans they kind of had the whole thing of let's fight, but only till like dinner time, and then have dinner and sleep. And the Romans were like, but what if we attack at night, or we don't stop attacking just because
Yeah,
somebody?
well, that's not how that happened in the Trojan War.
Why am I wheel slipping so much?
Also, another thing about that horse, it was so big that the Trojans had to break down part of their defensive wall to get it inside.
Doesn't surprise me at all. Wait, are we on the right way? Yes, we are. We are gonna have to set a switch there. We are doing 100 kilometers per hour. What if I put a little bit more speed into it? I'm gonna see if I can make it to the Arctic with this one. I'm still surprised by how that, when we're driving back home yesterday evening, which is the reason why I was kind of not streaming, because I was busy driving myself home. That is because, and then there was like a goose in the middle of the road.
Yeah, what an asshole goose that was. I understand the goose game now, the Untitled Goose Game.
But there was also a car behind me. So slamming on the brakes was not an immediate option. So I had to deploy the tactic of pump the brakes a couple of times, and only then.
It would have been. We could have charged the goose. Like, we could have,
We could have hit it.
sued him. We could have sued the goose.
We could have hit him, which in that scenario would have caused more damage to the car than necessary.
But we could have sued the goose.
It would be dead.
We can sue its family.
Or we can sue the goose anyway and just sue a corpse.
Or at least we can eat it.
Is that allowed in the Netherlands, actually? Where you can eat your
Yes.
roadkill?
Yes.
I know it's
But
legal in
not-
the UK, where you can just eat roadkill.
My grandfather apparently used to do that. I've never known this grandfather, but he apparently did that. Like, if there was like well, not a goose. I don't know what is that bird. Hold on, let me look up what that bird is called in English.
Did I change that to that? No. I want to stand up again.
Pheasant. I think I
Yeah.
knew that actually. If there was a pheasant on the road, he would apparently just, instead of hitting the brake, he would hit the gas. And then pick it off the road and cook it.
Hold on, let me actually look up if you're allowed to eat roadkill in the Netherlands.
I mean, why not?
Let's see.
I know you're not allowed to eat swan because only the royal family is allowed to eat swan. I don't know if they even do, but technically only they are allowed.
Oh. Yeah, you're not allowed to take it with you.
Well, who's gonna stop you?
Oh, if you hit it, if you in the Netherlands, right? You're driving, you hit an animal, a wild animal. You have to then stop and report it to the police.
Right, but what if I stop, pick it up, and cook it?
That is punishable. You can actually be punished if you do roadkill and then
With
take
what?
it with you.
What is the punishment?
Let's see what. Let's take a look
you
at the
go to-
article.
Can you go to jail for eating goose?
I don't care about your cookies. I don't care. Oh yay! I have to pay to look at an article. Lovely. Who doesn't like having to pay for articles? All right. Yeah. You have to call the police, but not an emergency number, on the normal number. Even if it doesn't stay down. So if it then runs off again because you didn't hit it hard enough, you still have to call the police.
Wait, roadkill doesn't even mean killing something with your car.
Well, if you hit something.
It just means killing. Like, even shooting is a roadkill.
Let's see.
That doesn't make any sense. Unless this website just doesn't know how to translate
Hello.
things.
Thanks for the follow. Give me reminding cookies. That does. Yeah, I was about to say that does sound German. I'm looking.
Hello.
Oh, you
Wait,
can
Joe.
do it under circumstances. Hold on, I'm actually.
Joe, you accepted cookies and they arrived.
I only accepted the basic ones because I'd rather not have.
Oh.
I've actually looked. I don't know if anybody's ever done it, but if you take a look at the cookies for like a game that you accept, some are up to a year long that, and they can just collect your data for all that time.
Yeah, I know.
That's why I refuse them as often as possible. Because I'd rather not have companies
I know, so
tracking
do
all my
I.
data for a year.
Well, there are ways to prevent. Like you have no, I forget what it's called, but a service you can pay for to get rid. Like they will go to companies and make sure they get rid of your information, even taking the court for you if they don't do it.
That might be smart to do at some point, and then just...
Yeah, maybe.
Let's see. Well, oh, it's weird. What? What happened? Oh, I hit the thing. This thing is too wide, technically. It hit the wall in a corner. It damaged that entire part of the train. But if the animal has died under natural circumstances... Shit. Clutch. Brake. Stop. Reverse. Apply the littlest bit of clutch. You are allowed... You are... Oh, those wheels are broken. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to fix those. Alright, welding torch. Let me first fix this a little bit. Is the logic damaged as well? Oh, that's a lot of logic damaged. Let me quickly fix that. But only, like, if the animals died from natural causes, then you're allowed to take it with you. But apparently not if you hit it with your car. Come on, get on. Get on. Get on the bloody train. There we go. Alright. Oh, come on. Let me do this. Put on the brake. Then start driving forward again. Let me take a look at it. Let me read some more. Oh, you are allowed to take it if you didn't do it on purpose. And if you oh, they do want you to kind of contact the police in a case of you hitting a wild animal. But if you just did the lawful thing and drove the speed limit, so you abided the law, and then you had the accident, then it's fine, apparently. But they do kind of want you to contact the police just so they know that it happened. Here's the next switch coming up that I want to take. Traveling to the Arctic takes quite a while. Although if you're doing 190, it will only take half an hour. So it is just the fact of, can you actually... Like, did you not speed? So did you not do the thing that Jim's talking about where you basically hit the gas just so you can actually hit it? You have to be lawful, you have to drive the speed limit, make sure it was an accident, and then you're allowed to take it home. Otherwise, you're doing illegal things. Right, the next switch is coming up here. So that's a good thing to have learned. If you just... So Jim, if you were to hit the goose...
Yeah.
Then I don't think we would be able to take it with us.
Why not? We just who would stop us?
Because it would not been it wouldn't have been an accident.
Would it not have been an accident? He pretty suddenly sat on the road.
Well, it was already on the road on a light. Well, I guess.
No, he flew in, sat down, and just didn't move.
Well, it did move.
Well, yeah, but only when we were like nearly touching it already.
Yeah. Although I did actually have to, like there was a car behind me, so I kind of pumped the brakes a couple of times to kind of indicate, yo, I'm gonna do something. Like, don't, if you start acting weird, somebody behind you will already notice that, hopefully, and then adapt the speed. And so I kind of did, like, I put my brakes and then stepped on the brakes, like, fully. Applying more and more pressure as we were coming to a halt, almost to a halt, because obviously you don't want to hit it. And we actually managed to pretty much not hit it. It was fine. Although I don't think the goose was, considering there was a there was like a lorry coming the other way. So
yeah, I don't know if it survived the truck.
Yeah. But we did not see any of that because we were driving. We were going the other direction.
Yeah.
And we saw a train that isn't normally there. Which got me excited.
We saw someone hit the brakes to look at the train.
Yes, somebody like fully slammed on the brakes.
Yeah.
And I was like thinking, what is that guy doing? Hold on. What hit my... Right, there we go. Finally, we're fixing stuff. Need to first get my logic fixed up again. Yeah, fix up the logic, fix 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 the logic. Come on. Fix it, 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 fix it. Fix it. Fix it. Fix the 4 dials one as well. Yeah, why aren't we getting an output anymore from that? Oh, I know why we're not getting an output anymore. Oh, no, no, no! I know why we're not getting an output anymore. Oh, I stalled my... Awesome, I stalled my engine. Wait, did my battery get damaged? If my battery got damaged, I might be screwed here. No, it didn't. Wait. Oh, the fuel tank is behind here. Of course you need to fix that wall, this wall up as well. Otherwise fuel's gonna keep leaking out of here and it's not gonna be pretty. Yeah, Jim, I do realize that I'm starting to enjoy driving more and more. The more I do it. I don't know, all of a sudden the entire front just exploded. Signal switch, come on, fix that up a little bit, fix this. It's empty. And I don't know if I have another welder in my train to fix the sensor. The distance sensor is fixed, but the other sensor isn't, and my engine's stalled, which makes me worried. Do I have another welder here? Nope, I need more welder in here. The brake is off. Alright, I should be able to start this engine up. What? Fuel's empty. No. Hold on. Home. Into the fuel tank. Oh, all the fuel's gone. That was a waste of like half an hour. All I can think of is I got hit by enemy fire. By AI. Also, I can add more fuel to this. More fuel in the fuel tank. You probably should put it to like 30,000 liters of fuel. Battery's fully charged. Yes, engine controller. Also, Jim, while we were waiting for you, right? There was a car that was about to that stop at the crosswalk and then continue driving on. And as soon as they did, like I was just talking, and I heard a slight crunch from a slightly missed shift, and I immediately just said, "I heard that." Because that is just something I almost cannot stand. Just the missing of gear shifts. Like the crunch from abusing gears. That is just something I cannot... I just don't like when people just... Because it's a gearbox. Depending on how fast you do it, you can wreck your car. And that is not said lightly. Like, it can cause your car to basically shift wrong and just not function anymore. Because especially if you drive a manual car, which in my opinion you should, but it's not the opinion of everybody, especially not my cousins, because they, like 2 of the 3 decided to learn an automatic. Which to me is one of those dumbest things you can do. Because an automatic, if you learn automatic in the Netherlands, you are not allowed to drive manual. It is true the other way around. Like, I am allowed to drive an automatic and a manual. Weirdly enough, even with my right arm. Which you wouldn't expect, but apparently the Dutch government is like, yeah, sure. I mean, I think they're only, like, in the Netherlands, you are kind of in a weird, like, oh, you have a slight disability. We have disability that just limits your movement. Don't worry about it. You will still be able to drive. I need to lower the antenna because I think this antenna has a range of 4 kilometers. I don't need a range of 4 kilometers. Like, this is more than enough. It is a lot smaller, but I don't care. 1 kilometer is enough. 4 kilometers is too much. Where did I put it? I think I put it up here. Signal switch. I guess composite also needs to go there. No, because then I'm changing the signal on everything within a 20-kilometer radius. Then I'm changing switches everywhere, which I don't want to do. Wait a minute, I think I can lower this roof. I can lower it. What is this height in here? 8. The height here is 8. Putting it one lower doesn't really matter. No, it doesn't. Also, let me quickly paint this like a gray, so I know where it is. I feel like that's pretty much it for this entire train. It's now shorter, has less wheels. What else does it have? If your external lights, if your cabin lights. Do I even have rear lights on this, actually? No, I don't have the red light. So unlike Amsterdam, I do not have a red light. A little bit more RPS. Reverse. Throw the clutch in. Start driving backwards. And press switch signal. And turn off the headlights again. See? Alright, full speed ahead. At 119 kilometers an hour. Of course, it's not fully watertight, so as soon as we touch the water, we will flood.
Also, we got some more information on the Dusk Bloods, like the From Software, like Nintendo Switch game.
Yeah.
And I think I might know why they chose to make it a Switch exclusive.
Why?
Well, they've already stated that... So first up, it's gonna be a multiplayer-focused game. But they have already stated that the main focus of the company is still on single-player. So this game is probably mostly an experiment, and then having backing from someone like, from another company, of course, allows them to take more risks. And Nintendo is the party game, company.
Yeah.
So I think from that perspective, it does make sense that they would accept funding from Nintendo.
Although Gaming Baron 1, I looked away, so I don't really know the context of that sentence. But I can tell you, that context, it does sound weird. Son of a... At this point, I keep realizing that I do not have a drink with me. Which is good, because that actually reminds me to get a drink. So, once again, for the second time this stream,
well,
I'm gonna put the Be Right Back screen on, because I will be right back.
Time to continue the story, I guess. Where was I again?
Yep.
Alright, Troy was surrounded.
Be right back.
For those who missed it, he left earlier, and I decided to tell the story of Troy in probably the worst rendition of the story you've ever heard, but that's fine. So we ended it with Troy being surrounded by by the people, by Agamemnon and his armies. And now I need to remember the order of things. Things. No. That's not what the Trojan War was about. I don't really fully remember all of the what? What does that have to do with the Trojan War? It's about a princess. They're fighting over a princess. What? You're taking me out of it now. No. Well, I really can't remember. Like, I know at some point, Achilles actually stops fighting because he doesn't feel like it's worth it, but I forget what like the full reason was. Oh, he's already back.
Oh,
But like,
waiting.
I have your stream open. I see you returning.
Yeah, but still, I'm pouring a glass of a liquid that I'm not gonna name because I'm not sponsored by it.
You showed it on screen.
No.
Yeah, you did. I saw the bottle come by.
Oh. Oh, you may not know what it is yet. You may do. I'm just not saying the name.
I do know what it is. It's a very recognizable bottle.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Then what is it? Nope. Well, sort of.
What, am I allowed to say the brand name?
It is, but it is store brand. It is not the actual brand.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, then I know which one it is, but I forget what that one is called.
The color of the store is yellow.
Yeah, I know. Oh, does it just have the store's name on it?
Let me check. Yes.
Okay.
But,
wow.
I mean, honestly, the thing with me and... Yeah, but if I drink water, it's gone within, like, immediately. The way I drink water is just I chug it. For me, there is no other way of just almost drinking water. Also, at this point, I've drank a lot of... I think I drank quite a bit of fluid already. Also, water isn't free, it's just really cheap. Alright, let's get... Then this needs to be on. And the reverse needs to be on, so the gearbox... Where's the gearbox? There, it goes to here. This one also needs to be on, and then it activates this light and this light. They both have power, otherwise this light will come from here, and will go to here. Where else does it go? I don't know. It's a headlight thing. Oh, it goes there, alright. Also, technically, how cheap would it be to get a bunch of syrup instead? Yeah. Well, it depends on how big the bottle is, honestly. And what kind of consequences you're expecting to face. If you just do a half-liter bottle, then you're in trouble. But if you have a 1.5-liter bottle, then you might have faced the consequence of having to pee halfway through. Right, now look at this. I turn on the external lights, and it just does that. But if I do reverse... Oh, wait. Oof, that's rough. The water returned to sender. I guess X and... Wait, does it not have that? Oh boy. Hold on, do I have a thing for that? Rain lights. It's a composite thing. No, why do I have it as a composite? What is this? Oh, this is RGB. Ah, never mind then. That's if you do RGB lights, but you only have indicator and light. Don't have spotlights for that. Siberia. I do know the. I do know it's really cold. I know it's the region of you're freezing. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna change the things around a little. 1, 2, 3. No, because I do not smoke. Which there's also a thing I don't understand really from a lot of people. If you don't, yeah, but that's the thing I don't understand. If you actually, would recommend. Yeah, if you actually don't drink or smoke, you get more questions than when you do. And the most asked question is why. And I guess this is the input, this is the reverse input. These all need to be going to the output. Yeah, that question. I'm gonna explain why once. I'm just not interested. And or I don't like the smell. Because it's unpleasant. I don't know if you like, for those who don't smoke.
Good job.
I am hydrating. For those who don't smoke, having people near you that do smoke is annoying because the smell just goes far. Especially if they go outside to smoke, and then they stand right outside the door, which means they blow all the smoke. Smoke blows inside again. You have to reseat. All right, there we go. And this is the on off. Off in reverse, and all of that does this. And so if both are true, Eh,
When I say I like goths, I get weird looks, but just want to suffer. What does that mean?
I don't know, but
What?
I'm not.
Why do
I'm.
goths? Why would
I'm not
goths make you
here.
suffer?
I'm not here to judge.
No, but no, I'm not judging. But why would goths make you suffer? Like, if you want to be a goth, then be a goth. Like, just do it. What is good? What is good?
Judge probably.
Judge? I don't judge. What? I just don't understand the
Front white, rear
the
white.
statement.
No.
Like, why would
Yes.
I like God? I don't. No, but why do goths make? Why would goths make you suffer? What? They're normal people sometimes,
She brought popcorn.
right? They're like the people that look like vampires, right?
Worst part is it's specifically the white one.
Yeah, like usual.
Wait, so if you turn on this, if you don't have it on, I turn.
Oh wait, is it a brand? Am I misunderstanding what's happening?
He's just running on a bunch of caffeine at this point.
It is Goths a brand or something?
This is starting to become funny.
What?
Wait,
Wait, so you do mean the vampire people?
Yeah, he doesn't get it. He just doesn't.
I know what a goth is in terms of those people that like have pale skin and they paint their hair black.
Flat people.
Black people. Like the
Yes.
ones with the long black coats. Like they all want to star in like Twilight and Underworld.
Not necessarily. That is a massive generalization of the thing. Jim,
I know, but they look like that though.
be around the internet for a while, for once.
Sure, I know what a goth is.
Yes.
What is what?
Oh, come on. Jim, explore the weird parts of the internet more.
Well, I thought I had.
You thought you had, but in reality you don't. You need to go to the weird places of the internet. The ones that make you slightly regret having eyes.
I see. Wait, are goths always goths are not always girls, right? No. What? No, you don't. I just don't understand the association between goth people and suffering. What? Goth isn't equal to goth? Well, I know. No, I know that. I know there's different types.
I feel like you need a thing called either Microsoft Paint or a whiteboard to explain this.
No, I understand. I know that part. But what is the association between suffering and goths? That's what I don't get.
Rare red, you have your rare white. Here. Front red, front white. Now, if I'm to be correct, it does. Why is it on? So I turn external lights on. Why are they always on? And then if I press the reverse, it does work like that. I think I'm using the wrong bit of logic for that. I think I need an XOR for this. Because it outputs... Yep. Everybody has a different taste.
Yes. And my taste is 2D. No, no, it's
That
not.
sounds incredibly pathetic.
No, it's not.
That just... Well, considering you don't really go outside...
It's my best shot.
Well, if you're online all the time, have you considered dating apps?
I don't need one. I can make an AI, maybe.
If you do that, I will drag you outside, and then we're going to Lady Butterfly.
Well, here's the deal. I know how to do it now.
Yeah, but if you do, I will delete it.
All I need to do is make a drawing and add the AI to the thing we use for Discord.
I have no idea, and I'm not about to look that up because I don't want it in my search history.
I'm sure there's goth conventions around here in the Netherlands as well.
See, this one gives one.
Remember that one time that I went to like check out a different class at school, like went to to try it out.
Yeah, the art part, which they make crappy engineering things.
Exactly. So that day, one of the things they were gonna do, apparently they had like classes in presentation, which, just a quick side note, why did we never have that? That actually seems like useful things to know. But anyway.
Yeah.
And apparently the way that works is like every week, because it was kind of early on into the year, every week another person or another like 3 people would present something about themselves, right? So one person started talking about Skylanders.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, sure. I didn't even know that still exists, but okay. But this one girl, I was just, remember, I didn't know any of these people. I was just there trying it out. I was just like exploring basically. And one of them like
Yes.
was a goth. One of them was a goth, and she started talking about that. But I don't really. It was kind of weird because she talked about it as if it was like sort of shunned. Which is it?
Well, if people take a look at a goth, they often look at it with a little bit weird, because you don't see them that often.
I mean, I like vampires. I mean, I'm making a whole comic about them, but like.
Yeah, but they are not often seen as the most
I mean,
normal.
they
Because,
often look kind of extravagant, sure, but
yeah,
like
and that is apparently off-putting for
just
a bunch of people because, oh, they look different. Let's ignore or harass them because they look different than we do.
the only reason I'm not walking around in one of those really long coats that comes down to your feet is because it would be impractical on a bike.
No, not necessarily. You specifically have guards for that. I can completely understand that one.
uh, can I? Wait.
Have you not seen cartoons from like basically the 2000s?
I mean, I have. I'm trying to think what goth girls are in there, apart from like Raven from Teen Titans. Kind of.
Kim Possible has one, if I remember correctly.
I've never seen that.
That's a skill issue and a
I mean,
half.
I know that Mavis from fucking Hotel, like the monster hotel, what is it called? Like the Dracula Hotel.
Yeah, that one.
Like Hotel Transylvania. Why is she so popular? I don't get it. Like, I mean, I'm not a fan of that movie anyway. Like, it's a fine movie, but
Why
I
did I
just
put a
don't like it.
distance sensor in this one? Makes no sense. Why would I put a distance sensor on a train? Look at that antenna go. Whee! Although now we're into the problem that if I turn the reverse on without my lights, that turns on. So wait a minute. Hold on. Do I have to do this? That would make no sense. How do I solve this? Because this one can go directly to this, and then as soon as I press this, the other lights turn on. And this one has to be on. But I don't want the reverse to have an influence on this. So if but I do have to turn off. So I guess what I have to do is if both are true. This is a problem. I'm sorry to interrupt the entire goth people being hot conversation with actual Stormworks logic, but there's also a sentence I never thought I'd say.
Let me look up Shigo, but I'm gonna go into an incognito tab.
And it's not Overwatch, so you shouldn't be too worried.
Now that I think about it, there's no point. I get fucking ads for everything already anyway because I look up reference material. Shigo.
Technically this, but as soon as I turn this on, so both values are on, which is an X.
Goth? It's just a girl with black hair.
So technically it's this. Wait. I have.
Okay. Baron, I found you something.
Oh boy.
If you find a girl, for 41 euros, so that's about $40 to $45, I think. You can get a Shigo Airwaxine jumpsuit outfit.
Alright. We've reached the level again, and it is the basement. Let's see, actually. So right now what has to happen is you turn this on. If you turn this on, this turns off. So this one should be on because it puts one of them. And as soon as this one does, then they turn on. Wait, what? Hold on, what does a NAND do? Why is it not explained? I now need to look at the function of a NAND. NAND. Or an AND. Come on. I do need a new phone at some point. NAND gate, not AND. Alright, so if you do both inputs, so if you have none of them, it outputs. Which was the problem I was facing. If one of them outputs, it's yes. And as soon as both of them are true, then they turn off. So technically I need an AND and a NAND. Wait a minute. Alright, if both are on, then they need to turn off. I need to delete this one and this one. So this is my end. Both of them are on, they turn off. So this one is one of them. If I turn the reverse on, it turns off. But this one needs to be always on. Or no, this one needs to be a not, I think. Because now if it's off, it's on. So it gives both, so it turns off. Wait, this one is off. So this one is off, this one is on. Now, so that doesn't really matter anymore. Now it will stay on. What if I use the NOT gate on this one here? So now both of them are true. Wait, does this work? They shouldn't be on. No, they are not on. Let's see. So we turn this, yeah, we have the same problem again. Of course we have the same bloody problem. All I've done is set the signals to no instead of yes. So we have a NAND gate. This is our output. Or not. I want this. So if I turn this on, it gives output. And what if I press an AND gate? Wait a minute, can I use an XOR gate here? No. I use an AND gate, I put that there. So this is what's happening now. This one outputs yes, always. Unless both of these are turned on, then it turns off. So this one is already complete. As soon as I put this in, it's also complete. So this should actually be the solution to my problem. This actually should be the solution, if I'm to be correct. And it is just two gates. Right. Reverse doesn't do anything. But turning this on does do something, and then turning this on does change it. I fixed it. I did a thing. Right, now we're in reverse. I'm gonna up the throttle to like 10. I should actually do a test to see what it... Wait, do I have my temperature set up already? Temperature. What if temperature called twice? Oh, I know, because it's temperature engine 4, which is which was the previous design with 4 engines. That's the thing with logic. I like to solve the thing with logic gates, because logic gates are fun. Wait. Where will I get the temperature from this? Value 3. Do I have to read channel 3 from a cylinder? Wait, where is the logic bit that does this? That is the 4 dials below here. And this one needs to be changed then. Because one of them, specifically channel 1, I have to change to a composite. Which then goes in there. Oh wait, that has to read... No, that has to go somewhere else. This has to go somewhere else. Alright, this has to go somewhere else. Another write needs to be placed, but in this example it has start channel on 3 and it only counts 1 channel. Wait, it now reads channel 3 from this. And it puts channel 3 through it. So read on off, I guess? Or read number? Yeah, I need this one. I need this one. It reads channel 3 and then it goes into there. And then we change this one to this one and see if it actually reads temperature. And also it is weird almost being done with school. See, now it reads temperature. RPS is 0, temperature 0, engine 0. It's weird being done with school. Almost. It's only gonna take us like a couple of weeks and then we're done already. Wait, what kind of... What does an engineer get? Wait, I do have a vent on the fuel. Huh. Oh, I now realize what I'm missing here. Does anybody know what I'm missing with my fuel system here? Good question. But why the question? What makes you think? Yeah, the meme. Also, I'm missing something very important to this fuel system here. Once I noticed it, and it was like, yep, I can vent the fuel. But how do I add more to it? I don't. I just don't add fuel to this system. That's how you do it. You just don't add fuel. Problem solved. So I guess port, no hose. Wait, do I put it up here then? If you're violating your free speech, then you should take it up with the government. Although I don't think they'll be of much help because, well, especially the Dutch government has really shown its incompetence in the last few months. So I don't think they'll be of any help to you. Yeah. But as I said, they are really useless the last few months. Let's actually have a dial so you can actually read the fuel. But even if you don't live in the Netherlands, the Like, that is something I have noticed over the last few, especially last month. How it's shown that the entire world is kind of falling apart.
What?
What?
Wait, are you? Did you literally just mention the culture war?
Yeah. Well, not only that, just have you
Well,
seen in general how things are going quite
yes, but
wrong?
that's funny. That's funny timing.
Why?
Because I also have a Metatron video up, and he also just mentioned it.
What, just mentioned the fact that,
Because something stupid has happened, apparently.
what, you mean the fact that Trump put tariffs on a literal group of penguins?
What?
Trump has put tariffs on an island near, I think, either New
Oh
Zealand or
yeah, no,
Australia,
yeah, actually, I did
which
see that. Yeah,
has not been inhabited for like around 10 years.
I know.
The only thing that lives there are a bunch of otters
Yeah,
and
no,
penguins.
those penguins are fucked, man.
They're gonna have to pay tariffs now.
But no, it's actually perhaps dumber than that, depending on how you want to look at it.
Which I find quite special.
So, you know, Metatron has a couple videos on, thanks, thanks, Baron. But Metatron has a couple of videos talking about the new Assassin's Creed, and then
Yeah.
you know, about Yasuke, because Yasuke is in that game, and Yasuke is an historical character. He has a couple videos about that, you know,
Ouch.
because of Assassin's Creed. But he made a video or a couple of videos before that about Yasuke, like about 4 years ago, perhaps longer. Before, you know, this game was even known at all. And now people are accusing him of fulfilling an agenda because of, you know, this game, even though he already talked about this stuff 4 years ago.
Yeah. The thing is, with the Netherlands in the 1940s when Germany invaded, you bombed the major city. Like, that's the entire reason we capitulated to begin with.
What is HOE 4?
Hearts of Iron 4 takes place around World War II, and it's just a strategy game. You can play as basically any country, and you get to basically play the game, play the war. And you can indeed turn historical accuracy off. So you can go bananas. I think you can even have communist Germany.
So you can, what the fuck?
Yes.
You know that Marvel show called What If?
No.
It was, I mean, I'm sure the title tells you about what it is. And I haven't seen all of it. I've seen a little bit of it. And it was cool, and now they made it, like, you know, an outlet for let's not go into the culture war again. But one thing that they apparently did, and I hadn't seen it.
Wait, what?
Is they made an episode, what if Ultron won in the Age of Ultron movie? Which is an interesting question, because his goal is, you know, destroy humanity and replace everyone with machines.
Yeah.
And it's very funny because, you know, so they make him win. And he kills all the humans. And then a couple years later, Thanos comes in anyway, because, you know, of course he does. Like, that hasn't changed. The fact that Earth is fucked hasn't changed the fact that he's coming. So Thanos comes in to collect the Infinity Stone off of Vision, because Vision was made by Ultron. And Ultron just instant killed him with a laser.
Alright, what is happening with, I think, this specific set of... Wait. This one goes to this one, which is... Huh. I wonder why... Oh, I did change it, actually. Wait, don't I have a piece of logic built for that already? 3 dials 1 indicator? Yeah, I did make a 3 dials 1 indicator thing. Oh, what? I did. Wait, hold on. Where does this come from? Yeah, 3 dials 1 indicator. I did make a 3 dials 1 indicator set of logic. But apparently I've been stupid and I've been too stupid. Wait, does this have a spare space? It does. Blah, 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 and gate.
I'm just gonna say it.
And say it.
I know that ChatGPT is technically not sadistic because it's an AI, but it's currently coming off as a little sadistic.
So?
Because I wrote more, right? I wrote about emotional manipulation.
Yeah, happens to the best of us.
I'm actually pretty happy with it, but you know, and I'm presenting it to ChatGPT, asking like, "Hey, what could I improve? What could I, just to see what it says." And and it's like, "Hey, do you wanna get into this girl's mindset who's being manipulated?" I'm like, "Sure," and it's just like, "Absolutely."
Wheel slip is 1. Distance, I guess, is 4. And now I should be able to delete this one. Grab this. Move it down. Paste it again. Merge it. I should now actually have a wheel slip indicator that works. There's only one way to... There's only one real way to test it. RPS up to 50. Let's turn the ECU on and let's start engine. The engine control unit needs to be flipped on. It goes nuts. We slam it in reverse. And it turns on. We have wheel slip now. So it now indicates wheel slip. Right, off the clutch, off the reverse. Turn on the cabin lights, turn on the external lights. But, like, if we're talking about, like, the 1940s with Germany invading the Netherlands, which... Why? We remained neutral with it when the First World War happens. And then when the second happens, the neutrality just got ignored. But if you look at Rotterdam specifically, most of the center looks way more modern than what you usually would expect from a Dutch city. Which was because the Germans decided to bomb it. And after that, with the threat of bombing more cities, the Dutch capitulated. Because, well, we didn't want to suffer a lot more. You know? For trying to remain neutral. Right, on the clutch a little bit more. There's next to no exhaust from this. You're walking on Rotterdam, it is a lot more spacious. And there's a lot more space for cars, which honestly, I think cars shouldn't be allowed in city centers. They are really annoying. But it then becomes incredibly funny, as I saw today, when apparently somebody drove into our city with a car, but from a point where if you drive in, you eventually reach a dead end. Like, you're not allowed to go straight, you're not allowed to go left, you're not allowed to go right. They try to go straight, which leaves you into a shopping street, which is... There was no place to go. They have to back up, which is impossible because it was busy. You had with our weekly market, it was nice weather. You know, all of that. There was football as well, which for those who are unintelligent is soccer. And yes, I just find it funny to make fun. I just find it funny to make fun of Americans. They deserve it at this point. Yeah, if I were to go to the Arctic, you have to go all the way to here. And I would go all the way to like Terminal Endo because... Well, going to Terminal Trinite, that would be the furthest away, but that is a full 120 kilometers. Alright, we are increasing in speed. Well, we are having a very high speed here. As I don't know why I put these 3 seats here. I don't know. I sometimes question my choices as well. But hopefully, also I might do updates. I have made a channel on this, I think, on the Discord server. There's a channel for car updates, which anybody that's joined the server can use for, unless I change the rules for it again. But I made it specifically for like people that have cars and are working on project cars to kind of give updates about them. Because I'm planning to do it myself with my project car, which is a Volkswagen from 1969, which is nice. And the annoying thing, it's a rare model as well, because Volkswagen has this little thing, right? Every August they would change their car model. Like, they didn't do it around the end of the year, no, they did it during August. They would change the model year. So if you have a car from 1969, past August, it's technically a 1970 model. Mine is the 68 model, well, 69. It's the 1 year where they had a shorter nose and a fuel cap outside. After 1969, in August, they changed to a bit of a longer car. They changed some major stuff. It was like a major shift in car design. So mine is kind of at the this weird transfer point between models. Nope, it is a manual. It is a 4-speed manual. And because it's Volkswagen, they decided to... Yeah, I do have to clutch myself. But they have decided the second gear is under... Or the reverse gear is underneath second gear. Ooh, physical like the physical part or the theory part? Because there is a difference in that. Oof. Wait, you filled it on Friday, you can already redo it on Monday? I'm getting jealous. I had to wait months and I had to take more lessons. But also driving here in the Netherlands is like you learn it in a certain way and then the next time you do it entirely different immediately for some reason. Like when you learn how to drive in the Netherlands here, you kind of learn the quite important... Alright, you first look over your Oof. Yeah, oh, the military, yeah. Like if you wanna learn how to drive here in the Netherlands, you first have to do a theory bit, which can be annoying, but it's manageable. What is this? Group mod name. Oh. But you kind of have to do... for the theory, I don't really remember, but it is an entire test. I will tell you that much. You are dealing with an entire test you actually have to do. Like you do your theory part and then you do your practical driving bit, and I failed that the most on the looking. Weirdly enough. Like the driving I got down quite quickly, mainly because over like 100 hours of sim racing experience. But the looking bit, if you have to merge while driving in the Netherlands, yeah. But when driving in the Netherlands, it's basically just the entirety of we actually do physical driving bit. You learn. Right, I want to merge. You first look over your shoulder. Then see if you're available to go. Then you turn on your indicator. Then you look again to see if you can actually go, and if some dumbass decided to go right next to you. You look, make sure there's nobody there, and then you go. In reality, you turn on your indicator, or you look, turn on your indicator, and go. Like drive when you actually it's often said that you only learn how to drive. Yeah, here in the Netherlands we are really just about just follow those rules. Just look, indicate, look, go. But here in the Netherlands they often say you only learn how to drive after you got your license. Purely because you basically learn how to operate a motor vehicle when you're actually learning your driving test. You learn how to drive when you got your license and are on the road. Which is kind of annoying, but also kind of makes sense. Like you learn how to be safe, and then you completely throw it out the window because that is not necessary. Then it just becomes a matter. I don't think it's about having to like go really fast. Like you have to, but you can listen to the vehicle. Like if you hear the vehicle kind of dying down, you just push a little bit more on the throttle. Or if it's because the military you're going to be rough anyway, just slam the throttle entirely. Just push it down all the way until it revs, dump the clutch, lurch forward, and continue driving. I did it at some point while learning how to drive. I wasn't like in the wrong gear, so I put a thing that I learned on BeamNG Drive. You put the clutch in, put the throttle to the floor, rev the engine. Yeah. But I was like in the wrong, it was a gear too high. So what I did is I revved the engine while putting clutch in and and then dumped the clutch. Then it just lurched forward. So instead of stalling, I just lurched a bunch and continued driving. It was a bad decision, but yeah. They're nature friendly. They just means shift early, or yeah, but then you have to be careful with throttle. You have to kind of feather the throttle a little bit. You have to push it in a bit, then release the clutch slowly. Yeah, that's why I'd rather not stop. Also, a quick tip if you're approaching a traffic light, which I abuse kind of. Brake earlier and then roll. Because you have to brake with less force. Or if you brake the same amount of force and you just, the last little bit, you kind of roll with like 10, 20 kilometers per hour. As you're crawling towards the traffic light, hoping it turns green by the time you get there. That means that you're either going to have to maybe go in first gear, but often you can remain in second gear and just continue driving on. Then you don't have to come to a full stop, only to have to immediately release the brake and move forward again. Yeah, in war, those manuals will not survive. Like, that is the one place I'd say an automatic makes more sense in the military, because imagine having to really drive somewhere quickly. Like, you have to get away. So you're driving a manual, and then you stall the engine. Like, at a critical moment, you just, with the amount of stress and adrenaline coursing through your veins, you just stall the engine and die because, well, you let go of the clutch too quickly. That would be a real skill issue. But yeah, otherwise it is just, with an automatic, you can just shove it in drive. Because I've driven one automatic in my life so far, which was a Range Rover. It was my dad's.
What have I done?
But yeah, you just rev it, but an automatic, honestly, the ones I've driven, or the one I've driven, it is so much easier to drive. You just shove it in drive, and you put the pedal to the metal, and you just go. You don't have to think about shifting, which, in a way there, you want to kind of... If you're in a war scenario, I don't think you want to have to think about shifting. You just want to think of, how do I get out of here as quickly and as efficiently as possible? Let's hope. I think you will. But as I said, if you're in the military, you have to get out of some... It's just a... Yeah, if you... Some places don't know your mistakes, I guess, but here in the Netherlands even they tell you, yeah, you failed on this bit. So then you can take some more lessons for that specific bit. Yeah, in the military, if you want to get out of somewhere quickly, an automatic is quicker because you just shove it in drive and go instead of start the engine, clutch in, shift to first, almost stall the engine while you're trying to leave, or you rev shit out of it and then release the clutch, making a bunch of noise, and then having to shift again and shift again. If the German army wants to be more environmentally friendly as well, they should change to automatics, because those are more environmentally friendly.
Sure.
Yeah.
I may have made that discovery.
What kind of discovery did you make?
And I'm gonna ask for your permission to share it right now because you are streaming.
Then wait till I'm done after, because
I don't. It's not that you would get demonetized or banned for it. It's just that I don't know if
Even
this is
saying
stuff.
that,
If this is stuff you should talk about.
yeah, if you're already saying that, I don't know if I should. The answer is most likely going to be no. Yeah, like I know you'd have to be nature climate friendly if you're in a war, but automatics are more efficient. Well, technically, being more efficient with at least wasting less fuel is actually better in a war because that means you have to run less fuel trucks, which means your logistics become easier, and logistics win a war. Not the amount of manpower, it's just, well, the manpower does also win a war, but it's also how can you move your army as efficiently and as fast as possible. Automatics can accelerate faster, or at least they can if you do them right. Knowing the Germans, they can probably do it right. And you have, they're easier to drive, so more people can drive them. It wastes less fuel, which means you have to run less fuel trucks, which means your convoys can be shorter, more difficult to hit. And you have to get less personnel, which means you free up more of the army to actually be troops instead of transport, which means you're more powerful. With an added side effect that it might be slightly more environmentally friendly.
By the way, I'm gonna go do something real quick.
Alright.
And that is this.
I'm not seeing
there. So, I'll be back.
Yeah, technically, like a manual might be easier to maintain because it is manual, so you can actually maintain. Everybody can maintain a manual, just pushing gears. So I guess it is the only positive about a manual as compared to a automatic in the military. Easier maintenance. But with the added benefits I just listed, your convoys can be short, so you can add more spare parts. You're probably going to be adding gearboxes to those anyway. Like there is a small chance, there is a significant chance that there will be gearboxes with the within the convoy anyway as repair parts for vehicles, because if one gear fails, you change the entire gearbox, send the other gearbox towards a repair place further rear, where they actually have the tools and the entire setup to repair the gearbox, and then you send it back out. So technically this automatics, if you're gonna have a gearbox anyway with you, might as well carry an automatic. That just made me think about a video I saw of like the US military with a Humvee. Where the starter was just screaming. It was like R2-D2, the starter. It just kept screaming. And you just have like some guy just screaming at another guy just at the private, like, stop. If it sounds like R2-D2, there are no fucking teeth left. Which I guess if you don't have any teeth on your starter or on your flywheel, then it will just scream forever because it just... That's usually why the starter sounds so slow. Because it grabs the flywheel and spins it and has to fight the compression. If it can just speed up on its own, it kind of gets messy if it has to speed up everything. Because it really has to do all the work. Well, I think this do all the work without the resistance, which means it will just speed up and speed up and speed up. Right, I think this refit is pretty much complete now. Like, you have your access panel here with the... oh, I could make this smaller, actually. Actually gonna make it smaller. By grabbing this. This is everything I need. I'm gonna put it... I guess I'm gonna put it here. No, I need to put it more backwards. I'm just gonna put it here. Then I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna merge it. Then I'm gonna remove these blocks, making it smaller.
By the way, something actually good happened in politics.
Tell me.
A lot of bad stuff happened, like a minister saying that something is not in her department when it totally is in her department, as it's in the name. But
why
I'm
does
sure
it
you
not
know what
surprise me?
I'm sure you know which minister I'm talking about as well. But
Really?
but they which minister would do this? Which minister has been in the news for shit like this for the past 5 months?
Good question.
But no, they actually managed to somehow finally to agree to ban fireworks.
Oh yeah. Which is actually, which in my opinion, I used to set off fireworks when I was a kid, but slowly over time we've kind of dropped that tradition, and now I'm like, yeah, fireworks are fun and all, but I guess.
I'm happy about it. I never cared for fireworks at all. And I'm sure there will still be like shows and stuff you can go to.
Yeah, there are probably like they banned like your usual consumer to buy fireworks. So your average Joe cannot buy fireworks anymore. You have to.
Yeah. Oh, it's also good for the police, because before they had to like check like what kind of fireworks is it, and now it's just like, oh, you have any?
Like, oh,
Wait,
there was a
fuck.
bang. Who did it?
You probably also get like a higher sentence
A higher
if you
fine.
attack police people or ambulance people with fireworks, because people did that for some reason.
That has been the main problem, actually. Like, not the people that are
I know.
that are actually getting hurt by standing over fireworks. It was people
not
throwing
just
fireworks
that.
at first responders.
Yeah.
Which is pathetic, because they're just here to help and
but
keep it fun for everybody.
They would not only get a punishment for that, they would also get a punishment for illegal possession of
fireworks. Oh, that is funny.
No, that has like a name.
Explosives. Technically,
No.
they're explosives.
Yeah.
Oh, you could put
illegal possession of products. Or possession of illegal products, but so that would add more to their sentence, because that's seen as a separate thing.
Yeah, but because they're technically explosives, couldn't you
Probably.
Couldn't you kind of you could, and this is a dumb idea. Would you actually charge them with possession of explosives, which even if it's I don't know if that's even a thing, like possession of dangerous things like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you treat it as somebody having like C4 in their house, like an actual grenade, and punish it like that is going to be a real punishment to give to people.
I don't know how that's gonna work. But if you want to know what happened with the minister, obviously it's Faber, because
that one.
Because when is it not her?
The one with the worst haircut in existence.
Yeah, it costs 500. Anyway, so
that haircut costs 500. Jesus Christ.
So
I know he has nothing to do with it, but he needs to be there.
For your chat, we might have the worst government we've ever had at this moment. Like they've apparently done one thing now, and that's ban fireworks. So they've done one thing.
Yeah, but the ban on fireworks was about to be there anyway, because like slowly but surely gained majority over the years.
It was going way too slow.
Yeah, but it did slowly but surely gain a majority.
But and this is not about like what politics do you agree to. This is just actually them being incapable, because there's this woman, and she is the Minister of Migration, which wasn't even a thing before this. They just made it a thing. They wanted a minister for migration. And her thing is that she wants to stop migration.
People going out or people coming in?
Yeah, mostly people coming in. If people want to fuck off, then that's their problem. But
Yeah, makes sense.
like already, that's well, it's something. It's something to have in your government, all right.
It is, but controversial to say the least.
Well, that too. But whether you agree with her or not, she is so incapable of her job.
Incompetency, let's go.
Like, she went to Denmark to see how they handle their migration stuff, because like for people fleeing, right?
Yeah.
And because apparently they didn't really do it all that well over there, and she wants to take inspiration from that. Then she put up a sign that's like, "We're working on sending you back home," saying she had seen that in Denmark, and the next day it was confirmed that she did not see that in Denmark.
Yeah, that'd be more of a US thing, actually.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't want to judge. But now there's a discussion about working migrations, which is, the people that go here mostly from Poland and Romania to do the jobs that we are too lazy for, right?
Yeah, which is entirely valid to do because
inherently there's nothing wrong with that, but they aren't really treated all that well, like, because they don't know our language, they don't really know our culture, so they don't know their rights, and so people are fully exploiting that.
Yeah, in fact, at school we've had stuff about that, actually. Like, they're often just work long days. They're basically put in like vans.
Oh yeah, no, it's that they would be that would be a hotel for them, from what I've seen.
No, they have like housing where everything is punishable by fine.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So if you do anything wrong, you get a fine. Then you have to live in conditions you live in those conditions where you cannot make mistakes. Yeah. Then the job that you have to do is often very long and heavy days, which already suck to do.
Yes, but anyway, that's a problem right now. And there's been a report about this, about the fucking archiving all of it, all the evidence, everything.
Yeah.
And now there was a hearing in our, basically our parliament, right? Yeah. I don't know if you call it a parliament, but you know what I mean.
It's kindergarten all over again.
The Tweede Kamer, but because you have American viewers, I'll say the parliament, because I think that's pretty much the equal thing.
I would more call it a shit show.
Yes. So they asked her about it, and you know what the Minister of Migration said? She literally said, "I don't have that all." Like she said, "I don't know, because that's not part of my
job description."
Not job description, but yeah, you get the point. Which you're the Minister of Migration.
Yeah.
Is working migration different?
No.
It contains the same word. I think that's your job. And then she said, "I don't know it because I've been busy with other things."
So she basically ignored doing her job and fucked off to get a 500 euro haircut.
The other things being keeping, you know, people that flee to the Netherlands out of the country.
Yeah, the fleet in is for a reason, which is often war, and it's not safe
yeah.
in their home country anymore, so they have that problem.
Yes.
And then you come into a country where they're like, we don't really want you here.
Yes. Which, again, whether you agree with her or not, this
that's
is
not
a
good.
fucking disaster.
It is not good to basically say, yeah, we don't really want you here. But you just fled to our country.
The fact that she's just like, that's not my department, and it's like, it's in the name of your department.
The migration. Yeah, migration is not my department.
But
no.
But
what is that buzzer hooked up to anyway?
But also, she made it sound like she's also against working migration. To which I just want to ask, are you gonna work the land then? Because, like, the reason we have food we can pay for is because of these people.
Yeah.
You know? Like...
The reason that we are even capable of, like, often, like, it's often, like, the people that come here for work are, I'm not sure if it is these, but often it's like Polish people. Like, they leave there for like half a year, they work here for half a year, get money, they send it back or go back with the money to their families, they spend it there, then they come back here after that half year to go work again. Often it's seasonal work because it's in farms. So you're dependent on the farming. So they apparently are against farmers getting help. I guess. And they're just there for the summer. Most often. And the work they do is often not done by Dutch people because we feel like we're above that. Which I find kind of weird. How can we be above basic work? Just, worst case scenario, you let the kids do it. Like, there are certain jobs, especially grocery stores and everything, where I think it's almost like 14 or 13 even, you can just work there. Of course, we have laws that dictate how late and for how long you can work in a row. So you cannot be forced to work like too long. You have to actually, you know, I think if you're like under 16, you're only allowed to work till like 7 or something like that. You're not allowed to work 6, I think. Even you're not allowed to work evenings because you have to be home for your family, or at least for your parents, who likely don't want you to go outside at later hours because you're not that old yet. So you have that thing. If you apply that, but then people working in like a field, you should be fine. Just you don't let them, just let them start around like 10, you let them work till like 3 or 5 or maybe 4, like 6 hours of work. Maybe 4 to 6 hours. You let them like do some physical labor, which also should solve the child obesity and everything. Actually, because you're giving children physical exercise. And what better motivator than money? So what motivates children more than being able to earn money to spend on food? Spend on candy? And as a kid, I would be very excited for that. So why not use that to your advantage at this point and just let the children earn their money? Of course, but kind of for the investors or for the business people, you often have to pay children less money than adults. So you're off cheaper. You have more resources. You have more manpower. It does have its bonuses. Of course, you also have your downsides because you are putting children to work, which means there are stricter checks on it. Because if you fail, I would say if you fail to comply with labor laws with children, then it becomes a big problem. Quite a big problem. Because then you're dealing with children. If it's adults, people are like, those are adults. Those are just bad places to work at. But if children get involved, people are more likely to take action. And that would make sense. But it would... Like, I think that's how it's done, like, with our parents. Like, you go to work with a farmer as a child, and to kind of, pay for, like, buying some CDs, having some fun, pay for your child life. And then once you're old enough, you start working maybe at like a grocery store or other places where it's a little bit more mature and requires a little bit more skill. And then you basically are done with school, and then you just get a job. And I mean, Jim, you worked at a swimming pool, right? Or are you still working? Are you still working at a swimming pool or not?
On paper, I am, but I did say like I'm not sure how much I'll be there this year because I'm getting a job and shit.
Yeah, with intern. I mean, I'm not sure if you're immediately going to go to work after we're done with our internship, or if you're just gonna take like weeks off.
Well, yeah, I think I will take a week, maybe 2 off, because, I haven't had a vacation at all in the past 20 weeks.
That's why I'm planning on taking the full month, like 2 months until I get my diploma to actually...
Yeah, but that feels a bit like... How do I say that? Like, hey, can I work here? By the way, I won't be there for like a month.
Yeah, but I mean, it is kind of your last chance actually to get a get like off for a long time, because otherwise you might be able to get like a week, couple of weeks here, a couple of weeks there. You might have like 10 to 40 vacation days, I think, in total, depending on the company, of course, and the minimum. I think the minimum is like 10. And of course you have a couple of weeks, maybe the company's entirely closed, like around Christmas and New Year's. I don't think you use your vacation days because, well, the entire company is shut anyway. So there's no point in continuing the... There's no point in using your vacations because the company's closed and you don't have the opportunity to go to work. So you have that little bit. But you're not gonna get like 2 months off. And of course it depends on what you want to do within those 2 months. If it's just gonna be 2 months of doing nothing at all, then I kind of understand that you're immediately going to go and work. And it's understandable because it's time because otherwise you'd be doing nothing, so you might as well earn money at that point. But if you want to like do a hobby or try and find a relationship or any way, shape or form, or just enjoy free time once again where you can just meet up with friends and do stuff, then I would recommend taking those weeks. Which I'm gonna try and do. Because I don't really like not having a lot of free time. I should probably also find a company that's close enough. So that I don't have to travel an hour in total just to get there. Because it does take a toll on your mental health eventually. With all the yeah, the thing with having to travel an hour, then you're done. You have to travel back an hour, which means I spend for 8 hours of work, I spend a total of 10 hours away. Do you get those 2 hours paid? Of course not. You might get some money for your transport, but the rest is all unpaid travel time. So yeah, I'd rather than enjoy my day, my couple of weeks free, than suffer through a bunch. Right, I think this one might actually be finished now. I'll have to look it over once soon, but I'm first gonna deafen myself on Discord real quick. Because I'm gonna be ending it soon here, due to the fact that I've kind of run out of things to say and talk about. And time, because it is almost 11 here in the Netherlands, and I kind of want to sleep as well, because Formula 1 is at 7 a.m. Suffering, yay. Early Formula 1 because Japan. So yeah, if you like what you saw and want to see more of Stormworks or other ideas, if you have questions about Stormworks, make sure to ask them as well, because I'll try and do my best to answer them. There's also a channel on the Discord server, which I think is... No, is it there? No, it is. I don't think it's there. No. Oh yeah, there is actually one. It's called Stormworks Creations to Fix. So it's kind of a place where you can upload your Stormworks creations, and I will take a look to try to fix it. Maybe other people can help and fix it. Sort of a place where you can learn how to do Stormworks, basically. Or fix creations that you don't know how to fix. And yeah. This is also up on YouTube as a VOD, so you can watch it back if you want to hear more stuff or see more stuff. All my VODs are basically on there. Yeah. With all that said, I guess see you guys next Wednesday, which will be Dero Valley, I think. I might think of doing another game because Dero Valley is kind of starting to become a bit boring. But I have to think of what game to play for a bit, because obviously I do have to play it for multiple times, because then Twitch, the algorithms can take a look at it and think, oh, there's a switch in content there, and oh, they're continuing it, let's recommend it a little bit more. So yeah, that change might happen. If you have recommendations for that, let me know. Same as feedback and, as I said, Stormworks stuff. Yeah. I guess I'll see everybody on Wednesday around the same time. The time is kind of off. You see at the top there. The timing there is kind of off because it's +1, but because of changes in time, that 1 hour, summertime, wintertime, you know, that stuff. We do have that here where we change back an hour or change back and forward an hour every once in a while. That has now become +2. That +1 becomes a +2, so there's an hour. It's an hour later, I think. But if you follow or subscribe, you will get a notification that I'm live, or join the Discord as well. So yeah, I guess I'll see everybody next Wednesday. And Gaming Baron 1, if you're still here, I do want to know if you passed your driving test. I'm not curious about it. So yeah, I guess. Good morning, afternoon, evening, night, or just in general, goodbye.